This video contains major spoilers for The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. It's not often that you come across a character in a Zelda game that manages to do so many things so well. Look, I love the series, but it's really a gameplay-first type of franchise. Not quite to the degree of some other franchises, but yeah, you know what I mean. Through all the trials and tribulations of Skyward Sword, there's one thing that stands out. Well, one good thing that stands out. And that, of course, is Groose, the best character in the entire series. I'm Ouroboros. Let's talk. Okay, so you might be thinking, hey, Oro, I can see why he might be attractive to you, but why would someone like me love this guy? Well, for one, look at him. Just look at his magnificence. Okay, enough of the jokes, but seriously, he's just a big, goofy character. The opening in Skyloft really does a good job of setting up the baseline for Groose. He's your typical schoolyard bully. It's pretty simple. He's the big meathead who can kind of just boss around everyone until he gets his way. He's even got a couple of lackeys by his side, Colin and Stritch. He's the stereotypical Disney Channel high school villain. Bronze over brains, in love with the main character's love interest, and she's completely annoyed by him. It's great seeing the dynamic between him, Zelda, and Link at this point. I mean, Link just kind of stands there because it's Link, but seeing him turn into a blubbering mess with Zelda is a nice touch. You wouldn't expect the popular jock to get flustered over a girl, so this is a nice change of pace from the usual trope. Of course, he and his goons cheat during the short minigame to keep you from reaching your goal, but you leave him and the rest of Skyloft behind once you journey out on your quest, just like most other Zelda games. Your hometown is there for when you want to come back and reminisce. Maybe you'll have a side quest here and there where you return, but really, it's just there to serve as a launching off point. Except that doesn't really happen with Groose. He somehow decides that he's gonna see exactly where you've been sneaking off to. And this leads into, legitimately, one of the funniest moments in any game I've ever played. So you zip off to the next section of the game. Nothing really seems different other than you get a new cutscene when you descend to the surface. And then you see him, that hunk of a man. Completely dive-bombing you. Without any way to stop, I might add. He was 100% ready to just plummet all the way to the surface if he didn't manage to grab onto Link. Fortunately, he did snag a hold of Link, and we get a brief glimpse into the most expressive faces Link has shown in the entire series. I mean, look at that face. That's a face only a mother could love. A real face for radio. And as they slowly fall towards the surface, he pedals his legs like that's gonna do, I don't know, something. And Groose's reactions to the tiny little birds on the surface and Gorko are just so funny. I think this is one of the few moments when having the old kind of grunting voice acting of old Zelda is just so good. He just sounds like some kind of crazed ape, but it fits the scene and his character so well. He naturally freaks out, and Link does explain what has happened. Despite being dazed and thoroughly confused, he eventually accepts everything and says that this new land isn't too bad. This is really a turning point for his character. His dumb schoolyard bully character has given way to the lovable goofball. He declares this new land, Groose Land. Okay, you know what? Baby steps, okay? Throughout this entire cutscene, there are various versions of Groose's theme that play. From the frantic descent to the surface, all the way to their talk. But what takes the cake is how the music gets all distorted when he finally reveals his name for the surface. And Link's sudden confusion is just the cherry on top. Seriously, I can't sing high enough praises for this whole sequence. And all of this happens in the span of like 2, maybe 3 minutes? I mean, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take me to speak, this part of the script, but I imagine it won't take much longer than the actual scene itself. That's one part of Skyward Sword that I don't think gets enough attention, the expressiveness of all of the characters. But who cares about them? This isn't a video about the other characters, it's about the best character. Good old Groose. In all seriousness, this scene is his turning point. His whole worldview has been shattered, and I think subconsciously he respects Link a lot more now, although consciously he still thinks of himself as the protagonist of this story, when in reality, he's the best sidekick Link could have asked for. Yes, that includes you, Fi. After his encounter with the imprisoned, he goes into a bit of a depressive state. He realizes that maybe the story isn't about himself. But while Link is running around doing his part, Groose finds the resolve to break through that slump and builds the Groosinator, the perfect device for fighting the imprisoned and protecting Grooseland. You know what, Groose? You can have that one. I mean, he did build all of it, after all. But that's not the end of his usefulness, not by a long shot. He not only stands between Girahim and the Gate of Time, he also catches Zelda's body when she's falling once Girahim is done with her. This is such an amazing character development over the course of the entire game. It never really feels like he was sidelined, and I think that's one of the reasons why I love him so much. He starts off as such a minor inconvenience and grows into Link's right-hand man. And this just isn't me exaggerating for the sake of this video. Even Impa says that he'll play a role in the upcoming battles. Without Groose, Demise would have won. I think the ending really seals the deal for me. Groose has the most emotional reaction to Impa's death, probably because he's spent the majority of the game with her, and she most likely played a role in helping him through his feelings of inferiority. Of course, there's still a bit of old Groose left, saying that this story should be called The Legend of Groose, and he does fly back to Skyloft with his buddies, but that's the perfect ending for him. Yeah, he's grown, he's gone through all of these drastic changes, but at the end of the day, he's still just Groose. That, to me, is great character development. Growing over the course of a story doesn't mean that you become unrecognizable by the end. It means that you can see meaningful growth in various aspects. That is Groose summed up perfectly. He's still a goober who's a bit of a meathead, but he's learned to grow and care about somebody whom he previously thought beneath him. That's exactly what you want from a bully. There's really only a few characters in this series that can even be in the same conversation as him. For all of its faults and accomplishments, all of its spectacular sequences and frustrating elements, I'm always reminded of his amazing presence in Skyward Sword. I'm sure there will be other amazing characters in the Zelda series, but at least for right now, I truly believe that Groose is the best character the franchise has ever seen. Thanks for watching.